So thank you everyone for joining today's meeting. We have a few roles that needs to be called for, but as the prospective president, I invite all of you to join this meeting, have fun. Welcome Lou. We do have a special session today by TTM Rupinder Singh. So before we proceed on, we have our first role player, which is the word master grammarian. Taiba has gracefully accepted the role. So Taiba, would you explain your role, please? You are on mute, Taiba.
I'm sorry. Let me share my screen. Please enable me.
You can do that now.
Okay, thank you. So, can you guys... Okay, so can everybody see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so word for today is Farrago. Let's hear the exact...
Farrago.
Okay, so that's the exact pronunciation, Farrago. It means a confused mixture or a hodgepodge of things. So how can you, it's a noun, and how can you use it in a sentence? You can use it, the shop was filled with a farrago of different items, like there were antiques, art pieces, and cloth items. So when you're talking about a mixture of things, different variegated items, you can use this word. I would encourage the people who have joined the meeting to please use this word. And every time somebody use the word of the day, that is farrago, will show a thumbs up, or we can also show there are emoticons. Through that we can just appreciate the person who's using this word. And I would also keep account of uh, how many times this word is used. And as a grammarian, I have a threefold like responsibility. The first is to notice the good usages of the word. The second is to use to notice the not so good usages of the word. And the third is to make a count of how many times the word of the day was used. Thank you so much. Over to the Toastmasters of the day, Toastmaster Haritosh.
Thank you so much, Taiba, for the crisp description. I believe we are in a better state than a Farrago meeting. Next, we have Lou Bagnell, who has readily agreed to be the R counter. So Lou, would you please explain your role?
Sure. Thanks, Haritosh, for our meeting today. I will be keeping us honest with our use of filler words. As the title would suggest, it's Oz, but it's also ums, so's, you knows. Any filler or non-words, any of those transitionary words that we use, like and, or double words like and, or so. I'll be keeping account of all of those and let our team here know how we did at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Lou. Thank you for volunteering. So next is the club business. A few updates. We are aggressively looking at chartering the club. We have close to 15 members who have signed up. And if any of you are interested, you can reach out to us. We will be providing you the club email address that you can reach out to. We do have a few guests and dignitaries, so we want to acknowledge that. And without wasting any more time, I'm going to pass on the control to the Toastmaster, who's me again. And the theme of today's meeting is leadership in 21st century. Now, I want to ask people, when you think of leadership, what is that one word that comes to your mind? Any two volunteers?
Good example.
Okay, yeah, good
That's
example.
a good.
Charisma.
Charisma. Okay, yeah. Apparently, vision, very nice. Apparently, the definition of leadership has been changing over the centuries. When it was medieval period, it was going to the field, getting some food for the family. Then it became that forcing labor to do the work. But when we really talk about 21st century, the definition of leadership has changed. It is more about, as we call, servant leadership, and that's something I really love about. So you will hear more about the servant leadership over the course of the meeting. But let me first call upon our general evaluator who will explain his role. So, Jerry.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here. The general evaluator's role is to act as a reflector of how we are doing in aspects other than speaking. So that in particular means I'll be keeping an eye on how our timer does, me. Wordmaster has already begun with an excellent example of use of the screen share. I will be paying attention to the topic master and all of the other roles and give some reflection on those, as well as the overall tenor of the meeting. How efficiently were we at conducting a good 21st century meeting? Nothing that is a farrago. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
While you were transferring me back, I would say let's not make it a farrago of me calling you again and again. So could you also show the timer card as a
Okay,
timer?
very good. As your timer, I will be showing times in the traditional, one of our traditional manners, and that is for the 5 to 7 minute speeches. You will see green at 5, yellow at 6, red at 7. Our speaker, our educational speaker, has requested up to 20 minutes, and he has said, ask for a green at 16, a yellow at 18, and a red at 20. Similar from in a similar fashion, the table topics lets everyone try to see the green indicator at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. And there you have it. I'll turning it back to you.
Thank you so much, Jerry, both as a general evaluator and timer. And it's time to move away from me being so boring person to somebody who will cheer it up. So let's welcome Jan as our joke master. Over to you, Jan.
Thank you very much, Ms. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest. I have a farrago of jokes to share with you this morning. These are all from Women Comics, and I'll start. Irony, is that when you put on a brand new exercise outfit and then spend the day watching the Olympics? That's by Simon Alexander. My favorite machine at the gym is the vending machine. Carolyn Ray. I went on that new 14-day diet. All I lost was 2 weeks. Sheila Kay. I have killed so many plants. I walked into a nursery once and my face was on a wanted poster. Rita Rudner. I have fish for pets. That's what I have, goldfish. It was originally for the stress thing. They say if you watch fish, it helps you relax, to fall asleep. That explains why I always doze off when I'm snorkeling. Ellen DeGeneres. Thank you for letting me share those.
Thank you so much. Those were quite entertaining one, and I think I can match with a lot of exercise ones. So next up is again a new section we recently introduced, that is to have more interaction with each other. So let's again welcome Jan to do the role of warm-up. And I hope we are not being called to go to gym now.
No. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone from around the world, fellow Toastmasters. I was thinking that I had a theory that Toastmasters tend to be very creative people. That's why you're in Toastmasters. You enjoy creating speeches. And I think that probably transfers to other places in your life. I think in general, Toastmasters are probably very creative people outside of Toastmasters. So I would like for you to share what country you're coming from, and some part of your life where you are creative. Maybe you're creative in art or music or painting. Maybe you're creative at work in solving problems, getting along with each other, solving conflicts in some kind of a leadership role. Maybe you're creative at home in terms of parenting or doing interior design. Maybe you love to paint rooms in the house, change your furniture. Maybe you're creative as a writer, and so you spend a lot of time creating your speeches for Toastmasters. And maybe you like to just brainstorm solutions to things, and you look at inventions or you look at problems in the world, conflicts. So if we can go around quickly, we have about less than a minute for everyone to share. I myself, I try to be a creative writer. I try to write, you're supposed to write every day, but I try to write every week some funny story or something that I find interesting to write about. So let me go around and just go around. So I'll just call out your name then. Mark, would you like to share with us some area where you're creative?
Thank you, Jen. Fellow Toastmasters, that's a good question for me because I had just in the last few days realized that I'm actually creating something that I never thought of myself in the same paragraph with. And that's being a Toastmaster, but actually leadership. I'm in the United States and I'm an old retired guy, and old retired guys generally sit on our porches and make acerbic comments about the passersby. That's normally all we do. But I've actually found out in the last few weeks that this Toastmaster leadership stuff has bitten me, and without knowing it, I'm actually acting as a leader. And it's actually working. Who would have thought that? I would have been the last one. So there is something that has been created from me by Toastmasters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Taiba, would you like to share somehow you're creative in your life outside of Toastmasters or in Toastmasters?
Yeah, I would love to share that. Sometimes when I'm very bored, I like to, imitate my family members. So it is a lot of fun. And, it's like a one-on-one thing. So I start imitating my brother, and he would start imitating me. And we have this like family entertainment going on for some times, and we are four siblings. So this is what we say. We don't have a TV in our house because we say that we are we are the creative people. We don't need entertainment from outside because all the entertainment is in house, within our house. So many entertaining things are happening that we don't need to outsource that entertainment.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you so much.
Thank you. And what country are you from?
I am from India.
India. Rupinder, is that how I pronounce it? Rupinder, would you like to share how you're creative?
That's a tough one. I'm from India, first of all, and I'm creative in that I'm lazy. So of late, I've really become creative in finding new excuses as to why I can't do a certain job that is assigned to me. And that is also making the way for some awesome Toastmaster speeches as well. Of course, I can't say that out loud because the voice carries over into the other room. And if my mother gets to know that, then it will be a different form of creativity that will be meted out to me. So I'll maintain that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Lucy, would you like to be next?
I'm from China. So if there's something I'm creative about, it is about how I spend my weekend. If you ask Jack, the Jack's response that, Lucy, please allow me to just throw myself on the bed for the whole time. Don't ask me to do this and do that. And I always ask Jack to do something. For example, tomorrow we're gonna go hiking because it is autumn season in Beijing. It is very beautiful season. So we're gonna go hiking tomorrow, and we're gonna appreciate the stand-up comedian shows. We're gonna take part in the Toastmaster meetings. We're gonna do a lot of things. So yeah, that's about my creative part. Thank you. Back to Jen.
Thank you, Lucy. Lou, would you like to share how you're creative?
All right. Well, you know, in my spare time, I do leadership, but in my spare time, I look at things, maybe mundane things, and I try to think of the absurd within those mundane things. So for example, and I brought up prop, I don't know if you can read this, but it says kitchen lemon, as if there should be lemon in other rooms of the house. I don't know why. But then I started thinking, well, if there was a song about it, how would Roy Orbison sing it? So for example, kitchen lemon, not the kind you drink. Kitchen lemon, it goes by your sink. You could probably think of a song that might, you know, kitchen lemon, not the kind you drink. So those are just things that occupy my mind in my spare time. And I'm from the US, Indiana. So
Wow,
thanks.
Thank you for joining us from Indiana. That was amazing. Jerry, would you like to share how you're creative in or outside of Toastmasters?
Thank you very much. I'm Jerry. I'm also from the United States, Indiana. It's a state just somewhat south of Chicago, for some of you that may be familiar with that as a locator in the United States. I'm feeling intimidated now of hearing all the creativity of everyone, and I'm going to fall back on, I suppose, my hobby of beekeeping, and that is every time you open up a beehive, it's different inside, and I'm particularly challenged because I help a lot of new beekeepers, and they are continually coming up with questions, problems, issues. Some of them make mistakes that I thought no one would ever possibly make. So I have to be very creative in helping them and myself solve problems with beekeeping. So back to you, Jan.
Great, Jerry, thanks for sharing that. I hope you never have to experience how to get rid of murder bees that
Yes, same here.
They're coming closer and closer.
Those are the murder hornets, and they're a little overrated, but still quite serious. We better keep moving though. I'm a timer and the general evaluator.
Right.
We need to keep on time.
Okay, Haritosh, would you like to go ahead and share how you're creative?
Thank you, Jan. I am from India, currently in UK. In terms of creativity, I hardly have doubt. I am pretty much creative, but I think I try out new things. I keep trying on new things. So during lockdown, I've done so many different things, including YouTube channel, Instagram, and then, yeah, my latest creativity has been my experiments in the kitchen, which only I can eat once I prepare. Over to you.
Thank you, Haritosh. Francine, we're moving along. Would you like to share how you're creative?
Yes, I'm Francine from Cameroon. Recently, with the lockdown, I found myself very creative in keeping the kids out of the house when I need to chill or just do a meeting. I told them if they want to grow strong and tall as mommy, they need a lot of vitamin D. And where is vitamin D? Vitamin D is outside in the sun. So they need to just get out and enjoy the sun and leave me alone in the house. That's
okay. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you could join us today. Jack, would you like to go ahead and share how you're creative?
Yes, hello, I'm Jack. I'm from China. I'm Lucy's husband. And my creative thing is that because I'm a teacher, so I have a lot of creative ideas to teach students. Like I use mind maps, I use pictures, I use stories. I made up stories to help them to remember the knowledge from the book. I think I'm very good at that. Thank you, Jen.
That's great. We need more creative teachers. And the last person is Javed. Would you like to share how you're creative?
Yeah, thank you, Jan, for that opportunity. If I talk my past till March, when this pandemic was not been started, I was really lazy. If you could have asked this question 3 months back, I could have directly told you that I don't have any creativity in me. But when the lockdown was imposed, everything was closed. I was locked in my home. I was hungry. I had to eat something because I was alone. I did not know how to cook. Nothing I was know about cooking. In my entire life, I have not cooked. But when I was hungry, I used to do some experiment on the food. I had to cook. Sometimes I was cooking noodles. So it was becoming something else instead of noodles. If I was going to cook Maggie, it was becoming something else. So again and again, I was doing experiments. But after hard work for 2 months, now I am able to cook, and I have been appreciated for that from my wife, from my parents as well. That my son can cook now. That's all on my side. What do you, Jen?
Thank you for sharing that. I hope that we all think about how we can be creative as Toastmasters, coming up with new solutions, putting fun, interesting, creating fun and interesting speeches and topic sessions for our members at meetings. Thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you so much, Jan. That was a wonderful warm up. And now that we are all warm and up for our next session, it's time for me to introduce our special educational session instructor to say. TTM Rupender Singh has been a Toastmaster for many, many years. He has been a distinguished Toastmaster twice. I think third is in making. He has also been an international speech contest winner at district level and also runner-up at the semi-finals in 2016. He is from District 41, India, and he is by profession a corporate trainer and facilitator. Today's his speech talk is Technology and Toastmaster. So let's all give a warm welcome to TTM Rupender Singh for his talk, Technology and Toastmaster.
In India, we have this law called Section 144. According to Section 144, wherever it is imposed, 5 or more people cannot get together for any meeting. So if a Section 144 is imposed and you won't be able to have a physical Toastmasters meeting. As far as me and the subject of accountancy were concerned, we had our own little Section 144 between ourselves. No matter how hard I tried, I would never get more than 5 marks in accountancy. And accountancy is the single biggest reason why I was never able to complete my postgraduate diploma in computer applications. So I've had this kind of a Republican versus Democrat or Labor versus Conservative kind of a relationship with accounts. And I always had a huge respect for all chartered accountants, anyone who could make a head or tail out of the debits and credits. Why am I talking about accountancy? Because of late, what I've seen is that many Toastmasters are having the same kind of a relationship with technology as I used to have with accounts. And today, my attempt is to help you understand that, look, it is not as bad as the relationship that I had with accounts. Fine, I had to leave my PGDCA in the middle and I was the only person in my batch who never completed it. Rest all of them passed because of account. It shouldn't have to be that bad. Because when technology and Toastmasters got together, when COVID-19 happened, others saw, oh, this is the reason why I can't go to that meeting. This is why I won't be able to give this speech. I want a physical meeting. I want to give my speech in a physical setting. All kinds of excuses. I, on the other hand, found reasons, and I've kind of felt exactly how the chartered accountants felt about their subject. So let me give you some examples of how technology and Toastmasters came together to make me a better person, a better Toastmaster. First and foremost, since Haritosh is from the UK, I decided to start with the British example. Now, a bit of a history here. We as a country got our independence from the British in 1947. For almost 200 years, we were ruled by the British. I went to this club in United Kingdom. I am unable to recall the name of the club or the city I went to. I just walked in, pretty much a club like today. The role players had not been assigned, and they saw my name and they go, Rupi, do you want to take grammarian? Now, everyone has a little voice inside their head that tells you to stop while you're ahead. I don't have that. I straight away said, yeah, yes, I will. Okay, give us a word of the day. Only then did I realize the enormity of the situation I had got myself into. These people have ruled us for over 200 years. They literally brought the English language to our shores. Our Bible for English is Wren and Martin, two Englishmen who literally taught English to India. And I, of all people, go into a club in Britain and tell them, I'll be grammarian. I am glad that you people can see the irony. If you thought that that was audacious, what was audacious was that I got the best role player award. Yes. Understand this. In India, we have clubs. In India, clubs give out the best auxiliary role player award, that is between timer, accountant, grammarian. And the best role player award, that is between the table topic master, the Toastmaster of the day, and the general evaluator. But here, there was one role player. Out of 6, I have no idea how, but I got the best role player award. And if that made me cocky, you're right. It did make me so cocky. I actually was about to write a blog post on it so that I could showcase my prowess to the rest of the world. Believe me, I did not feel so proud of myself after I came second in the World Championship of Public Speaking semi-final than I did at this time. But fate has a cruel sense of irony. Next day, in a club in India, I was the grammarian, overflowing with confidence. I went in there and I told them that, look, I've been a grammarian in the United Kingdoms. Let me handle this my way. And I gave a horrible report. And for the first time, I heard the general evaluator say, the grammarian could have done a better job today. That was a great leveling experience. But I still thank Toastmasters and technology, because without them, I would have never got that chance to go visit other clubs or visit a club like yours. Too expensive. The second thing that I love, and Haritosh and Taiba will relate to this a lot. If ever you go to their club in India in a physical meeting, you better have all your paperwork in order. Believe me, getting a visa to Denmark or the United States or Canada is easier than getting inside. They're first going to ask you, are you carrying a laptop? If you're carrying a laptop, you're supposed to dispose of your laptop. Are you carrying a mobile phone? Do you have piles? Okay, piles is exaggerated. They don't ask that. But you get the gist. They'll make your life so miserable that you'll stand there because you're waiting for a permission from somebody who is not at their desk, who will not pick up their phone. And you'll keep on waiting until and unless that permission comes. And I am not kidding you when I tell this. One day I went to their club and everything was in order. And that guard, the security guard, saw that everything was in order. And his face had, it was like he was depressed. I felt that he would commit suicide or something. I've seen that face before. It is the face of my wife when she comes home and sees the room clean. That wave of disappointment that goes across her face, it was the exact same face that that security guard had. But now, thanks to online meetings, no security guards. In fact, I'm thinking of writing an email to them. You know what? I've been inside your club and out without you creating a distraction. Pooya, take that. But on a more serious note, I'm a corporate trainer. And never in my life, I thought that I would be training some foreign audiences. But thanks to this whole setup through Zoom, I am able to carry out a youth leadership program for people in Canada, for kids in Canada. Now, Canada won't give me a travel visa, but they can't stop me from teaching their kids. Take that, Canada. The next advantage, wear anything you want. You don't want to know what I'm wearing beneath this shirt. Okay, it's nothing that would be offensive as such, but then wearing jogging tracks below a shirt, you can't do that in physical meetings. So all you have to do is cover yourself from from the upper part of your body and you're done. More importantly, you don't have to take a bath because you're not in a physical meeting. There is nobody who's going to smell you and say, oh, you smell. You can sit in the room, you can smell all you want. Nobody will be there to say anything to you. So that another game. I'm mixing it up, but I happened to visit an LGBTQ club and I actually found out that how shallow our thinking is. You see, in India, we're still grappling with issues like Hindu versus Muslim, or this caste versus that caste, and this religion versus that religion. And I visited that club and I was left wondering, what kind of an education are our kids in India going to get? We are still grappling with religion versus religion. How will they get adjusted to this reality of the LGBTQ community? How are they even going to do that? And I was filled with wonderment. I was filled with apprehension. And I am right now trying my level best to open an LGBTQ club in India. I don't care if it opens in my district or another district in India, but I think such things need to be done. And the variety of clubs that I have visited is just so much mind opening. It's been a totally different experience. You must have heard the phrase that what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. I believe that when you don't have the luxury of a physical meeting, you're not able to tell how your audience is feeling, whether they are laughing at your jokes or not, whether they feel the same level of empathy that you do. How do you deliver a humorous speech? How do you deliver an inspirational speech? Today, I conducted a training session for 4 hours on public speaking. And I was doing this to a group of girls who were from tier 2, tier 3 towns. the low income group girls, a corporate social responsibility program. I was supposed to teach them public speaking. These girls won't open their cameras in the first place. I was supposed to not only teach them public speaking, I was supposed to make them come out of their introvert nature. I was supposed to tell them that it is okay if your background looks horrendous. We are all working from home. It is an acceptable thing. It is okay if your kid comes running behind you and creates a mess in the room. First I had to cross all of those barriers, and then I had to get them to open their cameras, to reveal their faces.
Rupinder, you are on mute.
Rupinder, you are on mute.
We can't hear you, Rupinder.
Sorry, I got the phone call. By the way, if you ever heard that public speaking is the first fear in the world, that is not correct information. But today I saw that fear for real. And I also realized one thing, that if on this platform, that is this virtual platform, I can get people to laugh. If on this platform, I can make a pitch and I can inspire people, if on this platform, I am able to deliver a speech that people can understand, each sentence is understood in under 10 seconds, then imagine what I will be the day I get on a physical platform. And that is my motivation for going on stage, for going to every possible meeting. Coming back to something that is funny. When you are the timer, you can be a real timer. There was a meeting I attended, and we had this rather enthusiastic general evaluator who insisted on evaluating everyone. She insisted on evaluating every speaker who spoke. She insisted on evaluating every evaluator, the timer, counter grammarian, every table topic speaker, maybe the security guard standing outside as well. Now, it sounds funny, but she took 45 minutes to evaluate. And this was just her speaking. 45 minutes in a physical meeting. Now, given that it was a community club, the club has to pay money for every extra hour they spend, or every extra minute. 1 minute becomes 1 hour, even if you go 1 minute over time. They had to pay a huge amount. I just wish that I had been the timer that day, because as co-host, I would have simply muted her. Done. Your turn is over. Let the other person come in. And should she try to speak again mute her. I know that somewhere this violates the respect value of Toastmasters. But the point is, when you're taking 45 minutes of time from other people, you yourself are violating the respect value. And the way I interpret respect is that respect given is respect earned. And when you don't do that, when you take other people's time for granted, you are not respecting them. You can control your action. You cannot control the other person's reaction. When you go into this endless farrago of why you must listen to me and why you must hear my opinion on everything and everyone, including the chairs and the tables and the drinks that we had, it kind of becomes, why am I even here? The final thing that I learned is making eye contact with the camera. Now you may say, what is the big deal? First of all, how did I learn it? In a meeting somewhere in Florida. Yes, in Florida, somebody gave me the idea that, right, look here, on your on a post-it note, stick it right up to your next to your camera, and that way you will always look at the camera. What is the advantage here? When I went to Chicago, one opportunity, the reason why I felt that I came second, my eyes were probably not making the proper eye contact. But more importantly, I was speaking to a room full of around 700 people. I had never seen that kind of audience before. What I did not realize was that of those 700 people, probably only 100 to 200 people are actually able to make eye contact with me. The rest of them are looking at the screens that are placed next to them. And all I had to do was make eye contact with that camera, and I would have made eye contact with the rest of the 500 people in that room. I don't know if that cost me the first place or not, but that was a definite area of improvement, and I got that simply by attending online meetings. So I know every one of us has had trouble with technology. Pathways has not been a smooth ride for most of us. But like I said, fate has a cruel sense of irony. We thought that Pathways was difficult. Fate threw COVID in our paths. And now we are realizing that Pathways is probably not the devil that it was meant to be. Online meetings are probably a bigger devil, but not as big a devil as accountancy was for me. And trust me, I did not pass accountancy. But hey, I tell all chartered accountants, I made it to the semifinals of World Championship of Public Speaking. I've not turned out that bad. So I battled my inner ghosts, made it there. This is just technology, and we are here to provide that supportive and positive learning experience in which all members are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So here I am making an appeal to each and every one of you. 5 years ago, I started in Toastmasters. I did not have a mentor because my organization frowned on people coming from outside. I got unofficial mentors, 3 unofficial mentors. I never forgot what they did for me. And because they did what they did for me, you have my promise that I am here for you. Let technology not be let technology not be the reason that you're thinking of leaving Toastmasters. Give me a chance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ditya. All right. Sometimes the host gets muted as well.
I was
Paradox
muting
of
myself.
technology.
I was muting myself.
No problem. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. And I'm pretty sure we all are amazed. We all are excited. And yeah, Pathways is over now. It's the Zoom meeting. Now let's move on to the prepared speeches section. We do have 2 prepared speakers today. Our speaker 1 is Javed Khan, who's giving a speech from Pathways, Level 2, Project 3, Introduction to Mentoring. His speech title is "It doesn't matter how many times you are broken, they will make you again." Over to you, Javed.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Day. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Last week, I was sitting behind a lake, looking at the waves. That waves were forming due to the movement of water. Sometimes waves were going up, sometimes waves were going down, sometimes up, sometimes down. That was similar to my past, which was also sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes up, sometimes down. I was born in a small village in India, in a middle class family. From the initial, I was very much active, clever, and hardworking till my high schooling. I wanted to become a doctor, but due to some financial crashes, due to some family issue, I couldn't make that. Rather, I went to an engineering college. But in my engineering academic, my activeness, my cleverness, everything, whatever I have positive attitude, it was going in reverse order. Don't know why. Even in the third year of my engineering, I got failed. After that, I started fearing. I was I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of everything, whatever coming in front of me. Even in I couldn't face an college campus interview in my college because of my fear. During that time, one of my professors, I would rather call him as my mentor. He was noticing me since long. One day he called me and asked, Javed, what is the problem? I said, I don't know, sir. Then he smiled and said, son, you should be perfect in two things in your life. One, which gives you wealth. Second, which gives you mental peace. Are you good at that? I replied, sir, I'm afraid. Are you really afraid? Then go in the direction of fear. One day you will stop fearing. Initially, these words were strange for me. What to do, I don't know. But I thought at least I should reclaim these words once in my life. And I said, I reclaimed those words. The first sentence, what he said, that go in the direction of fear. I thought, what is the one thing I'm most afraid of that? Is that interview. Without thinking a second, I went to face an interview. As a result, I got a job and my fear ran away. Another thing, what he told me, you should be perfect, which gives you a good wealth. It was my job. So I started focusing on my job. I was giving my 100% towards my job. I was learning new technologies, whatever was good for my job. I was doing that. And I was rewarded as well for that. Another thing, what he told me was you should be good in one thing that gives you mental peace. In that time, I had not done anything which was giving me mental peace. But suddenly, I got a chance to work in a Purpose for Life, a non-profit initiative taken by Tata Consultancy Services, in which we have to work towards the social well-being. So I became a weekend teacher in that. I was teaching to the kids in the village, and I saw myself very proud after doing that job. The smiling faces, I was looking at the smiling faces of the kids, which was making me very proud of myself. And I was out of this world. I was really happy. Everything was going smoothly in my life. But as time was moving, I was I was also becoming senior in my organization. My organization thought to incline me toward the management part from the technological part. But I was weak in communication. It was very difficult for me to face client interaction, client calls, and meeting on that. So I started running away from the meetings. Rather, I started taking unwanted leaves during the meetings. As a result, my performance, my rating, everything was decreasing. Again, I was started fearing. I was afraid of any activity in my office. I was afraid of everything. The history was again repeating. One day, my supervisor called me and asked me, Javed, what is the problem? I replied, I'm afraid of client meetings. I'm afraid of public speaking. He told me, Javed, you should join the Toastmasters Club. Okay, I said, yeah. Another day, I joined Toastmasters Club. When I was called during my introduction, my entire body was vibrating. I couldn't introduce myself. My hands were not responding on my commands. But it was my boss order, so I joined Toastmasters. Initially, it was very much difficult for me to give speeches and take roles. But as time was passing, I was growing. And today, I am giving the speech on global online platform. That's a big achievement for me. In the form of mentor, I got this Toastmasters Club, which helped me in many ways during my personal life, in my professional life. Many ways it helped me. So I broke. I was broken in many times, many ways during my competition and in my life. Many times I have broken. But if you have good mentor around you, it doesn't matter. If you have good mentors around you, they will make you again. Over to you, Yomadi.
Thank you so much, Javed. That was a powerful speech. Glad to know that I am not the only one who was forced by manager to join the Toastmaster. All right, let's move on to our second speaker, who is Jack Wen. And his speech is also from, I hear an echo. Okay. His speech is also from Pathways, Level 2, Project 3, Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. Over to you, Jack.
Hello, Haritosh. Okay. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay. My lifelong mentor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In Toastmaster, we have mentor and mentee system. What is a mentor? A mentor is a person who gives you support and guidance to reach your goals. In my home club, DTMC, I have my official mentor, MG. He's a cool guy, and he always encouraged me to prepare the speech, to be a roles like a host. And when I was getting nervous, he will always encourage me and give me a lot of productive ideas to help me go through it. But today, I'm going to talk about my lifelong mentor, Cheryl. She's my teacher in college. I'm a person from small village to move to college. So I was also a few students in my village who can get into the college. So my level compared to my students, to my classmate, is not good. And I still remember the first day when I met Cheryl. She is teaching us reading, and we read a lot of very difficult things about American literature. And after reading, we need to do a lot of tasks. I was very lucky at that day because I was like a middle level student. But at that day, I got all the questions correct. The first impression is very important. And at that time, she think I was the best student in the school, in the class. And I have to be the best student. I study very hard and I acted to be the best student in the class. And during the end of the term, I was sure be the best student in the class. So it was all begins from a mistake. And after the first year teaching, she's not our like teacher anymore. And when I was a senior in college, I decided to take part in the postgraduate entrance examination. It is a long way to prepare. And every day I get up very early and go to my dorm very late. And the knowledge is very difficult. And the life at that time is very hard. One day I met her in the college and she was asking my condition. I told her my worries. She said, "Hey, Jack, don't worry. You're one of the best students in your class. I believe you can do it. I believe you will go to your dream school." Well, and she said, "Why not come with me and I will buy you a cup of coffee?" Then I just followed her and we talked a lot in the coffee shop. And I think the day is very important because I was like recharged at that day. And it turns out that she's correct. I realized my dream. I reached my dream college. And Cheryl is not only my mentor during the student time. She's also my mentor after my work. This year, the year 2020, is very special because in this year, I celebrated my 30 like birthday. I mean, this year I got 30. So in China, 30 is a very special turning point. You're getting to move into a new stage. But for me, I got a kind of lost. Why? Because I realized that almost all the things in my mother's eyes. Like I got a stable job. I was in a public school and I got married with Lucy. I got a very beautiful and smart wife. And we bought a house in Beijing, except have a children. We don't have one. We don't want to have one now. So I realized all the things. I got lost. I don't know what's my next goals or next stop. And every day I lived just like aged people. Sorry, Mark and Jared, I didn't mean that. I just like watching all the people play chess and enjoy the fresh air in the rural area. Just live a very comfortable life. And 2 weeks ago, I called my Cheryl and told her my worries. She said, "Hey, boy, don't think that, your life is just the beginning, just the start. Why, why you just stop your life, Set new goals, like become one of the best teacher in your school, like read new books, have a new hobby, There are a lot of things you can do. Even for me," Cheryl said, now I'm the vice director of our college and I was still learning and moving, don't stop. Now I was like moved and at that moment, I know what's my next goals. I know, I should be the best teacher in my school, even in the area. Also, I should prepare some money, some saving for my future, like travel around the world. No, I think the call is very important to recharge for me, and even for join the Toastmaster, another Toastmaster club, be a dual member is also a challenge, a new goal for me. So this is why today I want to challenge myself and do prepare a speech here. Okay, and I think Cheryl is like a light in the dark. It's like a bread when I get hungry, and it's like a cold in the winter. And she's like everything when I was get lost. Okay, and I hope everyone you can find your mentor like Cheryl, this kind of person who can guide you when you in your very special moment. And I feel I'm so lucky that I have this lifelong mentor. And in the future, I will still keep in touch with her and also get advice from her. Okay, this is all my speech. Over to Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Jack. You really pointed out that the importance of mentor especially in the leadership of 21st century, is very, very important to have a mentor who can guide you. Now, since we are running a little bit late, we are going to skip the timers report for speakers now and quickly jump to our table topics, which would be conducted by Francine. So over to you, Francine, for table topics.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Let's first set the scene for these table topics. Imagine we are all in this virtual environment. We want to meet and network and connect with more people, but we don't have a chance on an opportunity to meet them, to touch them, or see them around the corner. According to you, what would be that one thing you think you need to be a good leader in this digital and virtual era? Tell us why. Mark, can you tell us why? Hello, Mark.
Thank you, Francine. Fellow Toastmasters, what is the one thing that one needs to be a good leader in the virtual era?
Yes.
There are many answers to that, and I don't have them all, but I'm going to give you one that I learned, and I'm a little proud of myself because I was preaching this in our district before everybody else got the idea. That one single thing is screen presence, audience awareness, and like Rupinder said, it's the camera, dummy. The camera. Get good light on your face so people can see you smile. Smile, and darn it, smile at the camera. That's not so much, but that is something which will make you a much better thumbnail on the screen than many of the other thumbnails, and that's a good place to be. Thank you, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Mark, for reminding us how important smiling to the camera, smiling to the people we meet is important. Now, according to John Maxwell, a position is the lowest level of leadership. Argue against this assertion. Haritosh, you have the floor. Can you tell us why you don't think a position is the lowest level of leadership?
Thank you, Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmaster. I kind of agree with the statement that position is not a hindrance, but since I've been asked to argue against this assertion, I would say that if you are in a position, it can actually open a number of doors for you. For example, if you are in your home, you can actually serve your family members, but if you are head of the community, you can actually reach out to a larger community to serve them. If you are just a manager, you can probably serve and help your team grow. But if you are the CEO, you can actually help the company grow. So I see there is a merit, but most of the times we know what happens. When you get the position, you get power, you forget the favorite Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. So having a position or having a title is not a bad thing as long as you do not forget the responsibility. If you can keep the responsibility, it can very well help you serve and reach larger audience, larger community, or larger team members. Over to you, Madam Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Arito. This is very well, this was so convincing. I can't even tell you were against the assertion. Now moving to our next question. Would you rather lead with or without a title in this virtual era? Tell us why. Taiba, Mahmoud, can you tell us why, please?
Sure. I think if you have the zest to do your work or whatever is assigned to you to the best of your ability, you would automatically rise up to the position of a leader. You don't need to have a title. People will start valuing you. And I think here I will give the example of my own mentor, that is DTM Haritosh. You know, he's such a valuable person that, you know, we don't need to always, you know, it's that value he has created, because of which I really, whenever I'm starting off a new endeavor, or whenever there is something that where I need somebody who is at a leadership position, I always look forward to Haritosh. The reason is simple: he is very quiet, calm person. He's so much focused on his work. He does not care about the titles that's given to him. What he really you know, what he really cares is creating value, and that's what I have learned from him. And you know, that is what, you know, helps us as a person also to lead ourselves, to establish our rapport with others. So if you're a person who can create value, go ahead, do that. People will automatically give that title to you. You don't need to, you know, ask for that title. You will earn it, and you will earn it gracefully. Thank you so much, Madam Topic Master.
Thank you, Taiba. Thank you for this compelling perspective on why you don't need a title to create value in people through leadership. Now, this can look counterintuitive, but can a follower be a leader? Can a follower be a leader? Jerry, can you tell us what you think?
Second, all right. Someone will have to time me. Can a follower be a leader? And I'm going to say absolutely. And I think Toastmasters is an excellent example for that. In one of my other clubs, an experienced member recently gave a talk called Fellowship, not fellowship, but fellowship. And I've noticed this a lot too, as I have tried to be a leader in Toastmasters. It really makes a difference when the followers, if you were, do their job. That means if you're assigned a topic, be in touch with your Toastmaster. Let them know you're coming so they don't have to worry about it. If you have an assigned role, check on it. Make sure you are aware of the guidelines for that role. When you are in a meeting, pay attention. Be an active listener. These and so many other things that I could mention are leadership roles, not just fellowship roles. And by that, I mean, every time we live up to our responsibilities, being on time, doing the things that we should, we are leading by example. We are setting good examples for everyone else in the club. For the new person who's just now visiting, who says, yes, I see this group has standards and they abide by them. And we remind ourselves, let's face it, all of us sometimes aren't as good followers as we might be. And by seeing others doing it, we're reminded ourselves. So can a follower be a leader? I would argue that in many ways, the best way to become an outstanding leader is to be a leader through fellowship. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Jerry, for your insight. It was my first time to hear about fellowship, but thanks to you, I'm pretty sure that I will dig into the subject more. That put an end to this table topic. I hope you enjoyed it, and it helped you to, and it provoked more thoughts in you about leading in this 21st century era. Because of time, I will now relinquish this virtual lecture to our Toastmaster of the day, Haritosh. Back to you, Haritosh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francis. Those were some intriguing table topics. Now it's time for voting. We missed the best speaker voting. So I'm launching the Zoom polls now. Those who are co-hosts may not be able to vote, so you might have to withdraw, but the poll for best speaker is launched now. We still have about 66% people who are yet to vote. All right. We have about 50% vote. I assume others are not able to vote. But in the interest of time, I'm moving ahead. And now I'm launching the poll for best table topic speaker. Sorry.
Haritosh, I'm not seeing the polls.
That might be because you are co-host, so sorry about that. I've launched the poll for best table topics now, so please vote if you are able to see in the screen. All right, I give 5 more seconds and then we'll finish the polls and we'll move on to our evaluations. Our first evaluator for today's meeting is Lucy, who's gonna evaluate Javed's speech. So over to you, Lucy.
Thank you, Haritosh. And congratulations, Javed, you have completed your project, level 2 project 1 about your mentor-mentee system. And I love your topic very much. It is not only about the mentor, it is only about face up to the fears, embrace the fears. I love this. It is like a universal message that all of us can benefit from it. And I like to give you the feedback from 2 points of view. The first point, the first part is about your shining points. I found out 3 shining points in your speech. First of all, you use a parallel structure in your speech. For example, you say, I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of everything that is in front of me. I'm afraid of the interview. I feel the very strong impact that coming out from your parallel usage. I think it is a very high skill of language use. So congratulations, this is your first shining point. And the second shining point is your well-organized structure. You talk about the wisdom from your professors about use your wit and reach the mental peace. It is very clear and very easy to follow. And you lay out several examples. For example, the jobs get from a successful interview to be a teacher and to be a Toastmaster, to well explain the 2 sentences put forward by the professor. So I think it is very well structured structure, yes. And the third shining point is that you have a golden sentence, and I like it very much. You say you go into the fear and then one day you will stop the fear. I like it a lot, and it goes through whole your passage, and it becomes the core message over and over again. So it is a well-received message from my point of view. So I like it a lot. And if I have to give you some feedback, I like to give you 2 feedbacks. First of all, I would like to know more about your professor, because he is the key sentence, the key figure, right, in this test in your article. So how does he like? How old is he? And is he a middle-aged man? Does he have the blonde hair, the black hair? I can't imagine as a girl from Chinese, you know, I just can't imagine it. So I want to hear more from you, the description that from your professor. And the second suggestion is that maybe you can act out a little bit before you are fear of everything, and later you become more confident. For example, in the interview, you can say before and after, or as the Toastmaster, you are delivering a speech at the international platform right now. Before, and how was you doing, and later, but now how was you doing? You can act it out, because I found that you are a very expressive speaker. Your face, your eyebrows, I like it a lot. I believe that you can do a wonderful job if you want to act it out. So I'm looking forward to your next speech. All in all, I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much to delivering such a wonderful speech. Thank you, Javed. Over to Haritosh.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Let's move on to our second evaluator, who is Taiba. Taiba is going to evaluate the speech given by Jack. So over to you, Taiba.
Thank you so much, Haritosh. First of all, congratulations to my target speaker for completing his level 2 project 3 in mentoring. A really amazing speech, because it had an anecdote, a personal anecdote, and it was a heartfelt story. You could feel the gratitude he had in his speech towards his lifelong mentor, Sharo. So he told that, you know, when he was in his first year of college, how Sharo identified him as the best student of the class, and how one day when he was in his senior year of college, how again she came around, and how again she helped him identify his potential, and how she has been so instrumental, you know, for his growth, for whatever goals that he wants to achieve in life. And the conclusion was also very crisp, that, you know, we should have a mentor, we should all have a mentor. And the kind of, you know, metaphors and the parallels that were given by him, that my mentor is like a light in dark, and like warmth in winter. So that parallel was really beautiful. uh, so the story was, I think, interesting. It really interested me, and the way everything was, you know, structured, the way the whole anecdote was narrated was really interesting. What the speaker could, you know, improve in his next speech could be, again, the structure. I would say that, you know, when you start off, you could have started off with a question or something that could be like an attention grabber. Have you had a person that changed your life? Have you had a person that, you know, had an impact on your life, that you know, you that just turned around your life? That question, or something that was attention gaining. The second thing is, like, he could have used a golden sentence in his speech, you know, like, that could just hold and point back to the message that he is, you know, trying to deliver, that the importance of mentor. So that could be done. And the third thing is, like, again, the conclusion was great, but still a bit more work could be done. And, you know, people could have, like, you could have asked people to take a call to action, or, you know, uh, the conclusion could have been much more polished. Overall, I think it was a great speech by Jack. He shared his the story of his lifelong mentor, and I really liked a particular point in his speech when he said that in China, when you turn 30, it's a very special occasion, because then you have, it's like a new phase in life. And then how his mentor, you know, again guided him, that how could you again go on in his life with a growth mindset. I really like that takeaway, that life is never old, it is always new. It's just that you need that perspective. So I really liked that perspective that he gave to me. That was really interesting. All the best to my target speaker, Jack, for his future speeches. Over to Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Haritosh.
Thank you so much, Taiba. Our next evaluator is Mark Walton for Topics Evaluator. Mark, over to you. You are on mute.
Humbug. Thank you, Haritosh. In the interest of time, I will be concise. First speaker was myself. What can I say? I know, brilliant. Okay. It was a farrago of different thoughts. Haritosh, you were next. As always, Haritosh was logical, well-reasoned, has superb vocal variety, being the excellent speaker that he is. And surprisingly for Haritosh, I did not see a single gesture, which is one of the things at which you are best, but not today. Taiba, you had nice vocal variety, Taiba. You really do. You use pauses very well. You are well-spoken. You knew what you wanted to say with a nice structure. Two little things. One, as you and Haritosh must have forgotten gestures at the same time. And the second is, I would like you to open that window behind you and throw out all of the you knows. Taiba, you really do know. You know. Trust the rest of us. You used you know 6 times as a filler in a less than 2-minute speech. Enough said. Jerry is always a delight to listen to. He was today. Jerry, you have as calm, clear, slow a voice as any that I have ever heard. And I mean that entirely complimentary. You are so easy to understand that I almost woke up several times during your speech. And I said that only in response to your gesture. You did extremely well. I do have one key tip for you though. When you're doing an impromptu, it's sometimes a good idea to have your camera on. Did you know?
I thought it was on.
Well, nobody else did.
All right.
I evaluated, so I will return the control of the meeting to our Wordmaster.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you. All right, I'm launching, because we are running out of time, I'm going a little fast. I'm launching the poll for Best Evaluator, Lucy, Taiba, and Mark. Hopefully more people should be able to vote now. And while we are launching the poll, can we also have timers report?
Yes, our timers reports. Our speakers, Jack, 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Javed, Jack, 7 minutes and 29. Jack, 7 minutes and whatever. They both came under in time. Evaluators were a little long, and I apologize for that. I should have shown the times. I believe our time marks are 5 to 7, are 2 to 3. I didn't show those. So that Lucy was 3 minutes and 10 seconds and Taiba was 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We could do better there. And for the sake of time, I'll just stop with that.
All right, thank you so much, Cherry. And maybe you can, okay, let's move on to our Wordmaster Grammarian report. And let's keep it to a minute because we are at 2:24. So all the reports will be 1 minute. So 1 minute for Taiba. Come on.
Okay, thank you. So I will just point out to the good usages of the word. So the good usages by Rupinder were audacious, grappling, empathy, horrendous, and brought English to our shore. Fate has a cruel sense of irony, filled with wonder and apprehension, mind-opening. What doesn't kill you only makes you strong. And word of the day was used by Haritosh, Mark, Jerry, Jan, and Rupinder. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Taiba. Let's move on to our counter report. So Lou,
Yep,
1 minute
thanks,
challenge for
Haritosh.
you.
Okay, well, I should ask Taiba to close the window so she doesn't hear the thunder that Mark stole from my report about the use of you know and I mean. So Taiba had several of the you knows. Francine, I caught an I mean. What I would suggest for all of us is to confidently say what it is that we are saying. We don't have to preface it or at the end have a you know or a so or I mean to say. You are saying. So confidently speak, even if English is not your primary language, just you are saying. I won't go through an itemized of the filler words, but we had a usual per capita rate of filler words for most of our speakers. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lou. I like the term per capita rate of filler words. Let's give another challenge to our next role player, which is general evaluator. So Jerry, I'm a little bit generous. You get 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Oh boy. Well, thank you very much. I've been impressed by today. Everyone seemed remarkably prepared. Whether that was indeed the case or not, the meeting flowed very smoothly. So kudos to everyone in there. I do want to again compliment the way the word was introduced. Nice keeping track of positive examples. I think those are always good for us to be aware of. Lou, keeping track of the ahs and ums, and I see you tactfully tuck in 3 or 4 of your own during the report, just as an example for the rest of us. The educational speaker I found to be quite informative, very well organized. He's a great storyteller, narrator. It would have helped me a tiny bit more if there'd have been a bit more statement of goal at the beginning and the main points he was going to make. They were there, but that would have helped me. So excellent voice, good at the narrative, very, very authoritative. Evaluators, I like the way the evaluators gave both positives and opportunities to grow on. I would say the main thing perhaps would help some with time as well. There seemed to be an excessive amount of recapping the content of the presentation where we could have focused less on that, and that would have saved us some time. The examples, of course, are appropriate, but to do a lot of recapping can be excessive. With that, Toastmaster, you're doing a great job. I like the way you introduced the theme. Table topics, I like the way you kept it simple and that you put the statements on the screen as you pointed them out. They were simple, not complicated, something that we could deal with. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Jerry. In the interest of time, first of all, I would like to acknowledge our educational speaker. So thank you so much, Rupinder Singh DTM, for giving a special session on technology and Toastmaster. We all learned. Moving on with the awards. So our first award is the best table topic, which is Jerry. And Jerry, you won only by 1 vote. Don't be too happy. Let's move on to the best evaluator. Our best evaluator is Lucy. Congratulations. And the last but not the least, our best speaker is Jack. Congratulations. So that is the meeting for tonight or today. Thank you all for joining us. As in the start of the meeting, in terms of the club business, we are looking to have a few more members to charter, and some of the club members would be here after the official close of the meeting. So if you want more details, we can have. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. The meeting is officially closed.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was a great meeting.